Now that I've been driving the Beetle on the road for a little bit, I decided I need any advantage I can get as far as safety goes, so I'll be installing some 3-point seat belts. Here are the original 2-point seat belts. One of the lap belts mounts to the tunnel here. There's a threaded insert. It just unscrews. That's all there is to it. It's got a large diameter thread in here, and in the kit for the 3-point conversion, you have to buy an adapter, threaded this large diameter on the outside and the small diameter on the inside for the bolt. I think it's for 1962 through 65. It's on the website, jbugs.com website, which plug you need and what years. There's an escutcheon that goes underneath. This one's cracked. I should have ordered some. I don't know if they're available even, but pretty mangled. That came out easy. The other lap belt, is bolted right through the floor. There's a nut and washer underneath. I'll take that off next. But the 3rd point, there is a threaded cover plug in the B pillar. I'll take that out, and those will be our 3 points. That's all there is to it. It bolts through the floor. This big washer underneath and a nut. You want to inspect your floor pan underneath, because the new mounting point is going to go there. Of course, it's only going to be as strong as your floor pan, so you may need to reinforce an old one or something, but inspect that close. This is the plastic plug that goes in the threaded hole in the B pillar for the upper mounting point. It also has a trim washer on it. You want to keep that. It's going to take one of those adapter bushings like I mentioned earlier. Here's all the old stuff I removed. The belts are indeed frayed and they look pretty well dry rotted. I'm going to keep all this stuff though. I guess somebody could put new webbing on here if they wanted to. I'll keep it up in the attic. If I ever sell the car, it'll go with it. That way, if somebody wants to restore it, they've got some of the original parts. These are the parts I bought from jbugs.com. Actually twice as much. This is just for one seat. I've already done one side, and a good thing, because there's no instructions that come with this kit. And I actually called there and they informed me that no, there's not really any instructions for it. Even a picture of it installed would have helped, just to see the way it's routed and configured. I did it to what looked right to me, and there were a few key points that could compromise the effectiveness of this seatbelt. It's an inertia type seatbelt, so it reels out. If you pull it out slowly, it reels out, but give it a jerk and it locks up. The side I did, it seems to work nice, but I'll start installing this and show you some of the issues and some of the things to look out for to make sure this operates correctly. If anybody else has done this and they see something I've done wrong that I didn't take into account, or if they had a better way to do it, please put that in the comments. I'm going to put this threaded insert into the hole here using that adapter bushing. Make sure you use the escutcheon, a new one if you've got it. I'm using a bolt with a nut on it to jam it in there. That way I can remove it later. It started. The first thread or two goes in and then it jams up tight. I had the same problem on the other side. This is going into the tunnel here, but it will go in. Just takes a little effort. The threads are probably not quite fully formed on that piece. You can Loctite that in if you like. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. This is so tight. Okay, here's what I had to do for the lap belt latch mechanism. I used one of the longer bolts in the kit with a lock washer on first, and then make sure you've got the latch oriented to the outside of the seat. Go through this. Then I put one of the nuts from the kit. This helps space it away from the escutcheon so it doesn't crush it if you just bolted it straight up. Thread that into the insert. Get this cable latch mechanism, get it in the angle you want, and then snug it down, and it should hold it there in place. That's all for that. Here's a completed installation on the passenger side. As you can see, I've got the shoulder anchor point in that mounted in that bushing, and the inertia reel mounted down below. With the supplied hardware, there's several different ways that you could configure the hardware to put it together, and only one or two of them are going to fit or work properly. One key point to keep in mind: this is an inertia reel, so you can hand feed it out slowly, no problem, but if you give it a jerk, it locks right up. But for it to work properly, the belt needs to feed out of the roller, straight out. You don't want it to be kinked sideways. May not work when you need it. I will assemble on the bench the other one in the correct order with the hardware, so it should fit just like this one. Like I said, there may be other ways to do it, but this is the way I did it. Now, also, where it bolts through the floor, make sure you inspect that floor, that you don't have a rusted out floor pan. It'll rip right out. But I'll go ahead and assemble that. Now I'm assembling the belt reel for the driver's side. First thing to point out, the brackets, it comes with two brackets for each seat. I'm only using the one, but the bracket has a long leg. The hole is, up higher, and a short leg. So I have the long leg will be bolted to the reel itself. I put in the long bolt that comes in the kit in this hole on the short leg right here. And then I have one of the short bolts going through first the belt tab, then that angle bracket, then the belt reel itself, then a lock washer, and then finally the nut. And keep in mind which way this bracket goes. In other words, don't have it flipped that way, have it in this orientation. So hopefully I should be able to bolt everything in place like this and then tighten it down. Okay, I dropped the long bolt on the bottom of the belt reel through the floor pan, put a large flat washer underneath the floor pan with a lock washer and nut, and tighten the heck out of it. That seems to be the complete installation. Oh, of course, got a bolt on the upper shoulder anchor. One thing I noticed, and this is going to have to be a judgment call on your own part, maybe it would be better to thread this lap belt inside of the seat back frame, but the only thing I'd be worried about is when you tilt the seat forward and then back down, that it might pinch the belt and cause fraying. So you'll have to decide that on your own. Okay, that completes the installation. I think it'll be safe and not go anywhere. Like I said, it's without instructions. I'm not sure the proper way it was supposed to be mounted, but this seems the most secure I could come up with. I hope this helps somebody else out that is trying to put in one of these kits. This is the 62 Beetle. This kit is supposed to be for 62 through 66 that needs the those bushings. I think it also fits earlier years as well. But anyhow, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.